Happy Saturday morning, everybody. So this feels a little bit like deja vu for me. I've been waiting to do this video on Facebook because, as you guys know, I share the good, the bad, and the ugly with what's going on. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride in the last little while. So let me explain a little bit why, because some of you guys, hey Laura, some of you guys have no idea that are just brand new followers. Some of you guys know my life story. So I'm pretty much an open book. For those of you guys that don't know, 2008 was diagnosed with breast cancer, have the BRCA2 gene. Yeah, that means my life is always a journey with cancer and protecting my body. So I got implants when I had a full bilateral mastectomy last year, right around this time. I was coming on and telling you guys all of the things I was doing to prep for surgery to have my implants removed because of breast implant illness, and did a lot of awareness around that and shared that. So the BRCA gene blesses us with so many other things. One of the things is the high risk of ovarian cancer. So when I was 29 and diagnosed, one of the first things they said to me is, we want you to have a full hysterectomy at 29. So, sorry, the dog's right here, he's gonna bark. I was not ready for that. So I waited, and I have been, pressured is maybe not the word, but yeah, it's been a journey. Sorry. So we went through lots of ups and downs. And I've been struggling with doing a full hysterectomy and doing all of those things. Sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional, but it's been a roller coaster. And so as I got older, so I kept pushing it off, and I was like, I'm not ready for that. Let me take a drink. Hold on, gotta recoup. Okay, I was like, I'm not ready for that. I'm doing all the things that I need to do to keep my body healthy. The thing with ovarian cancer, though, guys, is that it is so, it's like, you have no idea you have it until it's too late. Or it's like later stages. I shouldn't say too late, that's wrong. So it's later stages. And so it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm eating healthy, I'm using all the oils, I'm doing all kinds of amazing things. And then that like risk factor kept coming up. And I think it's because the doctors kept telling me too, like, hey, you know, your risk factor goes up as you age. You know, you hit 40 and it's like, oh. And then I was going for every 6 months ultrasounds, pelvic ultrasounds, transvaginal ultrasounds as like my precaution, but it really doesn't do anything. And so because ovarian cancer is one of the risks with the BRCA gene, I was like, oh, okay, let me just do that as sort of my like safety thing. And then, you know, but the reality is it was like in my head. And the reality is it was one of those things that was just like a check mark, but they had told me that if they found anything, it would probably be to stage 2 or stage 3 cancer by that point. So didn't want that to happen. So I knew last year I was ready. I mean, had given up on having children. I mean, through COVID, I'm kind of grateful we don't have kids because of all of the struggles with that. And so I decided to do my explant of my implants last year, and didn't want to put my body through 2 traumas in 1 year. And so it was kind of funny. So I was on the golf course talking to my surgeons, and they were like, okay, so you're ready. And I'm like, well, kind of, but not really. I kept hoping that there would be some other detection, or there'd be something that I wouldn't have to do another surgery to remove more body parts. Because my joke is, or my thing is, I'm like, how many more body parts can you take from me? You know, there's only so many you got. For female parts, and we're taking a lot of them. So I was on the golf course, I was talking to my surgeon, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I was still hoping to just have fallopian tubes removed, but it's very new research being done on that. And so I'll explain more of that in another post another day. But so I was on the golf course, and the girl said, I'm like, I need to just pause, talk to my surgeon. And so I said, I do surgeries in January because I'm so active. I have a life. I have things that I do. And so they said, okay, you know, you're not an emergency, but we really need to get this done sooner than later because my risk factor is probably at about, according to statistics, about a 60% chance of ovarian cancer. And that's pretty high, but I don't see myself as like the average person. I see myself as that person that like does a lot of extra things to keep my body healthy, but that's still a pretty high risk factor. It's because I have the BRCA2 gene and because I've had breast cancer. So I said, you know, January sounds like a good month. I had my other surgery in January and that was a success. Let's stick to January for surgeries. So prepping, I mean, some fears around removing the fallopian tubes and the ovaries. So that's what I'm doing. It's called a salpingo-orphorectomy. So that's both. Is some of the positives that I can share about is no more periods. Yay to that. Some of the downside of it is surgical menopause. And I should not and need to be very cautious with taking any hormone replacement therapy drugs, which most people, when they go through surgery, hysterectomy, or anything to put you into menopause, they go on hormone replacement drugs. But I can't. So that means I need to figure out ways to manage this a little bit more naturally and figure that out. So that's scary because I hear horror stories from so many of you guys that are on and so many other people, and I read so many things and I get myself immersed in it and I'm like, oh. So if after this surgery I'm a complete bitch, that's probably why. So I'm gonna try and figure it out, but that's a scary part. And then COVID. So yeah, COVID comes along. And I'm not afraid of COVID. I had my last surgery during COVID and it's like a blessing because it's like, yay, we're in isolation. Yay, we're not doing much anyways. So that didn't bother me. But then we get the announcement that, you know, things are locking down and things are shutting down and surgeries are canceled. Now, I have been blessed to be at the Women's College Hospital in Toronto. They have been unbelievable in terms of like video conferencing things and only getting me to come to the hospital when I like need to. So I called my oncologist nurse right away and she's like, don't worry, we're figuring things out. We're stressed here. And you have to understand that this hospital is just a day surgery hospital, just for appointments. They don't do any COVID. They don't do anything else. If you've never ever been to that hospital, it's an amazing hospital for women's health issues. So they let me know, don't worry, your surgery is still going through. So my surgery date was Thursday, or this Thursday coming up, the 13th or the 14th, whatever day. I don't even know what days it is anymore. And so I go in for my pre-op, I go in and get everything done. I've been doing things to prep my body. I've been doing all my pre-surgery stuff, getting my mindset ready for surgery and all of that. And then, then I was in Toronto, got all that stuff done. And like, don't worry, surgeries are still happening because you're under oncology still. You're not like one of the surgeries that are just, you know, we can put off. Don't worry. So I'm all like still prepping. I'm like, okay, like, you know, get everything ready. And then I get an email at 9:30 at night, that same night, saying my surgery is canceled because of the announcement that Ford made that all surgeries need to be canceled. My surgery was canceled. So that took me in like this emotional, oh, okay, it's not meant to be, get over it. You know, I can deal with that. And then, figuring stuff out, like what next, what do I do? And I'm a person, so my strength is like positivity and then being very adaptable. And so I was like, okay, I got this. And some of my friends were like, oh my God, I cannot believe how you are just like managing through this. I'm like, well, it means that, you know, now's not the right time. It means that there'll be another time. Things happens for a reason. I believe that. Let's just go with that. So then my nurse calls me and she says, we're trying to be creative. We're gonna try and figure this out. We're gonna get you rescheduled. This is not okay. And she's super supportive and she's like, so like, you know, we at this hospital have done so many things for COVID precautions. Everyone has to get COVID tested. It's saliva testing. So all of those amazing things. And I was like, okay. So still prepping to kind of go, yep, it's going to be later in January. Let's just keep prepping my body. The longer I prep my body to be ready for surgery, the better. And then I get a phone call that later that day, so that was yesterday, surgery's on. However, it's not on Thursday because they are not allowed to do surgeries on Thursday. The government had, or the Ontario Healthcare had reduced the amount of surgeries, and so the Women's College Hospital is not doing surgeries on the Thursday. So the good news is that they got super creative and super powerful on their end to be able to come up with this, and they are doubling up on surgery days. And so they are doing my surgery on Tuesday. So sooner than my original surgery date, because that was supposed to be Thursday. So all of a sudden I go into this like panic mode of, oh my God, I'm not ready. But I am. So yeah, so Tuesday I'm going in for surgery. So I've got some prep to do. Some emotional, obviously, clearly, some emotional stuff to do. And I am so grateful. So one of the things that I was so angry about was that I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe like we're canceling surgeries, you know, cancer, because I'm under oncology, you know, and delaying surgeries and then all that backlog. Like, oh my goodness, what if like, you know, it was something a little bit more serious and whatnot. And so thank goodness I'm at the Women's College Hospital, my nursing staff, my surgical staff, super grateful for them to be able to work through this crisis and work through everything that's going on, to be able to still have me be seen, and all of our other patients. So they're not canceling surgeries. They are just rearranging things and making it happen. So that's life with the BRCA gene. Gotta love it, right? And so hopefully after this, you know, I've done a mastectomy to make sure I don't get breast cancer again. I have changed my lifestyle, changed so many things you guys see, learn about, and hear about as I teach on here. And then I will have my ovaries and fallopian tubes removed. So the question that I get from some people is why? Like, if you're doing all of this stuff, why are you doing a surgery? Another preventative surgery. And literally it's just because that fear, and yep, it's my issue, but that fear creeps in about, I know what having cancer is like. I know what chemo is like. I know what all that stuff is like. And what our statistics of ovarian cancer, of detecting it early at this point in time, is pretty low. And so I feel like for me, this is the best option right now. I will be doing some trial stuff to help them with their clinical research and studies. One of the things that has come out is that ovarian cancer starts in the fallopian tubes. And so it was something I've been researching for years to hopefully, my hope was to just get the fallopian tubes removed, and then that would be it. That would reduce my risk. But there's not enough studies around it. So I am going to be part of that study where they are going to surgically remove my fallopian tube first and understand more about that, and then be able to see if they can remove it all safely and whatnot. And they've been doing this for the last year. And then remove my ovaries, and then be able to see that there's no fallopian tube cells left on it, and that be able to do more testing. Because to just have the fallopian tubes removed doesn't put you into surgical menopause. So have your whole ovaries removed puts you in surgical menopause, with all the joys with that. So I wanted to keep you guys updated. You guys know I give you the raw, the real, the prep, the this is life. Thank you for your love and support. So I've got some prep to do for surgery. My surgery prep for my scarring and all that. So it is laparoscopic. I'm hoping to be skiing in March. For those of you guys that know, yeah, I had my surgery in January last year, and I was indoor golfing within 4 weeks. So I'm not pushing myself, but I know how fast my body can heal when I prep it, and I know how amazing our bodies can be. So I've got some healing to do, some stuff to do on myself, and some work to do. I will post some recipes because I know other people out there are going through different surgeries and sometimes maybe didn't catch things. If there's stuff that you're going through that you want to catch earlier, you can just go back to January 2021 and you can see my journey there of having my implants removed and going through those surgeries and that. So that's it. I didn't mean to babble on for this long. I wanted to kind of just put it out there short and sweet, but apparently that's not me. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks for all your love. And I will keep you posted along this journey, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then how it is dealing with surgical menopause naturally. If you have any tips, I am all open for them. You can post down below. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Enjoy the beautiful sunshine, and I will see you later.